on my camera right now? Oh my God. Polished oath keeper. Because we have to keep the oath that every Tuesday we do Ask the Maester Live after the latest episode of Game of Thrones. This last episode, EastWatch. Secretly a wild, uneven episode. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, we do this every Tuesday. We've got 2 more left after this. Please go to the revampedringer.com. Oh, it's beautiful. It's amazing. For all our Game of Thrones content, including Alison Herman's recaps and reviews, Ask the Maester, the column, which comes out also today. All the stuff, so much. And of course, watch Talk of Thrones after the East Coast airing of Game of Thrones live on Twitter. Fantastic. Let's ask or answer questions with my direwolf Milton. Here, you can help me. Come here. You want to help? Okay. Ford. If Jon petting Drogon is proof that he's a Targaryen, does that mean that the other 2 allowing Tyrion to get close and free the chains prove that he is a Targaryen? I think it certainly suggests it. This is a retcon kind of thing. Kind of. There's no indications in the books that you have to be like just a Targaryen to be close to dragons. Obviously, there were other Valyrian families that were not Targaryen and they rode dragons. But certainly that seems to be the suggestion. If the dragons accept you, then you have the blood of the dragon, then you are probably a Targaryen. Could other people, like there's families, there's the Valyrians, the Valyrians, who live like kind of around Dragonstone. They're a family, an old family that has Valyrian lineage. There's other families in Westeros that have Valyrian lineage. Could they ride a dragon? Would a dragon accept them? We don't know. But certainly that seems to be what the show is suggesting. At Cave God. Who in the GOT Suicide Squad has the most beef? Jorah Tormund, Jorah Jon, Gendry John daddy issues. Interesting question. Here's the thing. The Jorah Tormund beef, that was whack, guys. Tormund doesn't care about Jeor Mormont or who was running the Night's Watch, or he doesn't care about that. He's following Jon, and Jon was the Lord Commander, also in the Night's Watch. Mance Rayder was in the Night's Watch. That's like, he's not, that was kind of whack to me. So who has the most beef? I kind of don't understand why Jon and the Hound don't have a lot of beef since the Hound was like Joff's right-hand man and all that stuff. But moving on. Eric, how many of the 7 make it back across the wall? Over under 4.5. Here's a question that I've been thinking about. The wall is guarded by powerful wards that keep the dead from coming back through. Can Jon come back? Can he come back? Can he come back through? He did. He hasn't been across since he's been dead. Can Beric come back? How do they get a dead thing back if the wards in the wall are so powerful? Remember the Whites that attacked Jeor Mormont in season 1? They hadn't turned yet. So how many make it back? I would imagine, let's see, who's making it back? With all apologies to Mal, I think her husband probably, Jorah Mormont, I think it would be tough for him to go back. I don't even understand why he went. I would imagine a lot of my Brothers Without Banners bros are going down, if not all. The Hound, in some form, I think will certainly come back. And Jon, like, has to come back or the show's over. Ross, what's Sam going to do with Heartsbane? It's a great question that the show should think about every once in a while. Here's a critique. If you're going to kill the Tarlys, Randall and Dickon, like, have Randall mention the sword, right? Like, have him be like, my son Samwell stole the... Like, have him talk about it, especially knowing that you're not going to resolve it because you're going to burn him. It's wild that he never said anything about it after he was like, he was like, I'm going to murder Sam because he's going to inherit this sword. And then he just never talks about it again. Come on.
It says Dickon is the last heir to Tyrion.
Dickon. Well, I mean, it's... Yeah, but the thing is, Sam, like, he is in the Night's Watch, so technically he can't. Yeah, he's out. Royce, why is burning enemies somehow materially different from beheading them? Because it is. They scream and stuff. And they're on fire, and they're alive for a little while. You can smell their flesh. The beheading is like it's over, you know? And also, it's really the connotation. You know, it's just the Mad King was a tyrant. He was insane. He killed a bunch of people in horrible ways, very publicly. And the last thing you really want to do is kind of draw any similarities to him beyond, where are you going? No! Stay. The last thing you want to do is draw any similarities between him and yourself, if you're Dany. You want to try and just be like, yeah, you know, he was a bad guy, and I promise I won't do any of the things that he did. Bring the dragon out. Let's burn this guy. Andrew, what's the time course of this season given all the fast travel? What has the Night King been doing this whole season since Hardhome? He's been walking his shambling army towards EastWatch. They don't move very fast. You know, it's cold up there. The joints of their white bodies are frozen. It takes a little time to get them warmed up, and they're just kind of crawling and shambling forward. Eric, is there any thought to Sam being legitimized and being made Lord Tarly? That could only happen by decree of a king or a queen. If it could happen. There's not a lot of, I mean, other than Jon, there's really not a lot of precedent of people quitting the Night's Watch and entering Westerosi society proper. Like, you can leave and then flee north of the wall, or you can die and come back and then be like, I quit as a weird loophole. But you can't really quit and then become the lord of something. That's, like, not done. So I guess if Daenerys and or Jon and or the combination of them say that that's a thing that can happen, maybe that happens, but I don't see it. Nolan, why did Rhaegar never end the war by telling people he married Lyanna? That wasn't going to end the war. The war was on. Lyanna Stark was betrothed to Robert, and the Mad King had already killed the Starks, Brandon and Lord Ricard. So God, hard to call it off at that point, I think. It's kind of gone too far. And who knows? He might have been working towards that. We don't really know a lot about what Rhaegar was up to between the tournament at Harrenhal and him dying at the Ruby Ford. There's just not a lot of info. We now know that he married Lyanna, annulled his marriage to Elia, and then at some point shows up at the Ruby Ford where Robert caves in his breastplate. Jason, could Lyanna have prevented Robert's rebellion, the War of the Five Kings, and the current war with the Dear John letter to Robert? I don't know. Robert doesn't seem like a guy who could be just like, you know, the thing is, women don't have a lot of say in Westeros. You kind of just get married off to someone, and you just kind of deal with it. So probably not. Certainly not after the murder of Lord Ricard and Brandon in horrible fashion. Perhaps a letter and Rhaegar saying, okay, I'm going to take over for my dad, but that's dicey too. Like, now you've got a civil war, like, with 3 belligerent parties, potentially. I mean, you could almost imagine a circumstance where that's worse. I don't know. It's tough. You know, it's like, in the moment, I could imagine it being tough to understand what to do. Also, you know, setting aside this season with the incredible travel speeds, it's like hard to know what's going on in Westeros a lot of the time. And don't don't forget, like, Rhaegar was, at least for part of the time, at that, in Northern Dorne at the Tower of Joy, which is like in bumfuck Dorne around nothing. How much did he know about what was going on? We don't know. Matt, does Beric give his life for the Hound with the last kiss of R'hllor? I don't know if the Hound, but certainly I think that's why Beric is there. Royce, will we see the Mountain ever again? We saw him, we've seen him. We will see him again. Yes, for the Clegane Bowl! Are you ready for some Clegane Bowl? Speak. Are you ready? Are you ready? He's not ready. Alex, it's my birthday. Where the hell is Ghost? How does Jon not bring him north? It's a great question. Although, I kind of don't want Ghost going on that effed up suicide mission. No! My Ghost has left me. Yeah, you don't want Ghost doing that. Come on. He wouldn't come back. That's kind of like low-key good, although yes, Jon should bring his direwolf everywhere. Scott, is there a chance Grayscale actually protects Jorah from White Walkers? If that happens, there's absolutely no indication in anything that that is a thing. Maybe that happens, but we have no evidence of that. Scott, can you warg into that corgi sitting next to you? If I could, he wouldn't have left. He's got a mind of his own. He's strong-willed. They're not like, they're not like dragons where they just do what you tell them to do. That's it, guys. Binge Mode comes out Wednesdays, Wednesday nights, late Wednesday night. As soon as we can get it out, we get it out. Talk of Thrones, of course, after the East Coast airing of Game of Thrones every Sunday live on Twitter, where we're doing all the stuff and contextualizing everything. It's fantastic. It's the best. Check out The Ringer, where everything we do is inspired by Wasserman Media Group. And goodbye, Internet. Thank you.